Welcome friends to my review of the newest Topcon foldable solar panel. I searched for the 16 bus bar Topcon solar panels, and this is the only one that came up. My best monocrystalline solar panel is my Bluetti. That's always yielded me the highest results. So my question becomes is, can this do just as good as this one and be just as nice? Already from the off the bat, I do like this design over here. It is slightly smaller. We have the Bluetti. Perhaps one of the minuses is that there is no pouch to store extra cables in, and it's a SOKIOVOLA foldable solar panel. The build quality already feels really nice. So there's no pouch. You would keep the solar panel stuff separate. This one, I do like the pouch. I just brought it out to put them side by side. So technically, this one is supposed to be a slightly higher efficiency, maybe 25%, and this one is like 23 or 24%. Size-wise, this guy's already smaller because we have the handlebar already built into that. That's kind of interesting. Is it by the same size? Is it going to give us at least the same output? I'm very interested to know, because it's the first time I'm taking this out. I just got this, bought this with my own money. So if you guys subscribe and click like, I appreciate it. So let's get these guys unfolded and let's get to the power tests. So these are the two solar panels side by side. I would say I'm liking this one better by the way that it looks. And apparently over here, we have what's called a 16 bus bar design. Apparently there's like 16 interconnections, so it's supposed to have lower shading performance. And perhaps that's important to us. It is a little bit overcast day today, so maybe it's a perfect day to test one against the other. The reason why I'm doing it one against the other is that we have to establish a baseline what we're testing against. Everything actually clips on with these little connectors over here. These kind of little nubs. It is super thin. I like that. And the build quality feels phenomenal. It doesn't come with any cables except this one. This is the cable it comes with. So we're doing kind of like an unboxing too. What does it come with? It comes with a nice cable too. So I used my own over here. I wasn't expecting it to come because I've been buying cheap panels that don't come with anything. And this guy actually comes with a multiple cable connection. Wow, okay. Let me just get this out. So this is the cable that it comes with. It comes with some of the most standard solar generators connectors possible. We have the Anderson, we have the XT60, and we have I think this is that 8.9 millimeter, and this I think is called an aviation plug. I've never seen this one before. Very interesting. And now let's look at the manual. What does it say in the manual? So it's a SOKIOVOLA. Actually a pretty good name. So it's a monocrystalline panel. What do we have here? Congratulations on your panel. So it says cell efficiency 25%. Optimum operating voltage is 18. Open circuit voltage is 21.6. Output MC4, it's 17 pounds. How to charge your device? Frequently asked questions. How to do the parallel, how to do in series. How to do the different things, charge controls, precautions, and warm tips. Okay, so now let's look at the voltage open circuit. What does voltage open circuit mean? It means what voltage does it say when there's nothing connected, because it's going to be operating at 18 volts, but this is the voltage open circuit. So when you have a power station, you have to be within this voltage open circuit parameter in order to not burn out the charge controller. So we got that guy at 20.6, and we have the Bluetti voltage open circuit 24.21. So that one might be 26. What I do like about this is that I have a solar generator, and a lot of them actually are max 24. So this one actually is more compatible with more power stations than this guy. This guy, if at 26, could possibly burn out a 24 volt. Yeah, so that's one of those things to worry about. This version might not be also available with Bluetti, because the Bluetti might have actually have a higher voltage model. So we're trying to compare the best of this voltage. This is kind of stupid. Doesn't want to fold back. Okay, now it does. Because we're not trying to block any of the sun. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect these to 20 amp battery power charge controllers. So we're going to have two of the same charge controllers and basically similar conditions. I just set it up like this. The angle might be better in this one, so we'll see which one is going to get more power and how much power are we going to get. Okay, solar conditions. The sun looks like it peeked out of the clouds, so possibly the most optimal. We're talking about late March, early April time. So it's March 31st, 2025 in New York. So this guy, this 200 watt panel is getting 176. Wow. And this guy is getting 148. Okay, we have a new winner. 175 watts. And going into the battery, 165. And this guy going to the battery, 142. So we're talking about 20 watts more, at least. I am very much impressed with this panel. Wow, 20 watts more. What's also the other thing, maybe the price went down on the Bluetti. However, for the Bluetti many years ago, I wound up paying over $400. This guy, I think with a coupon, was less than $200. So this new technology is probably worth it to get. Okay, so let's see now, a little bit more shading. What are we getting at the input? 175, 171. Okay, so maybe let's test on the input. Okay, so the newest panel, we're getting 157 versus 136. So, oh, I'm shading it. Okay, we don't want to be shading that panel as we're looking at it. Okay, probably best way to look at it is like this: 148, 115, 153, 157, 180. Guys, I've never gotten such a high amount. Like the highest I ever got was with this one at the 150 mark. What is that, 126? And this guy's 15 watts more. Wow. Wow. Is Topcon the wave of the future?
This is the rain we'll get.
I really think so. I really think so. I'm very much surprised at this. This is like amazing. Meet the old greatest and latest to the new greatest and latest. Wow. SOKIOVOLA, you are kicking butt and taking names also. What I also found is that searching for foldable solar panels, this is the only Topcon one that I found. I guess Topcon is the new way to go. It's also called N-type. And yeah, I mean, better performance overall. So we're measuring the, like at the input, over 190, what? Okay, side by side. See, I'm not shading it. Standing over here behind the panel. So even as the sun rolls in, 118, ooh, that's a big jump. Think about it like this. That 20 watt difference over 4 or 5 hours could be an extra 100 watts into your bank. So the operating voltage is at the 17.78. That's pretty nice too. 18 volts. Look at that difference. Wow. So And this box is saying IP68. What? Okay, what does that mean to you? Well, it means that this panel could be left outside and you don't have to worry about water intrusion. So they really did a good job with making this wire. Obviously, maybe a connector like this could get water on the inside, but you wouldn't leave your solar power station out in the rain anyway. You would have it on a table or covered up by a bag or something like that. So I wouldn't be much worried about it. And this cable alone is worth good money, because this one over here on Amazon is about I think $50. So let's say this one has maybe one or two less. It doesn't have the 5521s, which is some solar generators do, but it has all the major ones for any decently sized power station. So it has all the ones. So this is at least a $30 cable included for a panel that is half the price of what this used to be. This one might be $250. I don't know. I haven't checked the latest prices. I'm just trying to test the two behind them. It's like, is Topcon worth it? I mean, overall, we're talking about at least a 10% increase or a 10-watt increase at the input level. So now let's check out at the after the charge controller. So the charge controller takes a couple watts in order to convert it. So we're talking about 10 extra watts at least. Wow. I mean, given the choices that you have, like, are you gonna get the latest, the greatest, or are you gonna just pay more and get the old tech? The new tech, I think, is the way to go. This bus bar design is amazing. So let's just check out the bus bars over here. So these are called bus bars. And let's check out the bus bars on this guy. Top quality. So this one has a nice soft fabric on the back. What this one has going for it as opposed to the other one is this cable that it comes with is extra long and it can fit inside the pouch. And I was able to put my own extension and keep it in there. I just find it convenient that you could store the cable. Okay, let me put it to you this way. I'm still already storing the charge controller. I'm storing the other things. I could just store the cable with the battery or the solar generator. That's fine, and just stretch it out to the solar panel. I'm completely okay with that. So I don't really need the storage there, since my devices could store the stuff. And if you have the Okito, you have the compartment on top. That's kind of cool. So now let's fold over half the solar panel and see what it produces half folded up. In order for it to be a fair test, I guess I'm gonna fold up this side. Is it gonna be a fair test? Because the input is on that side, and if we fold over half this, okay, let's just give that solar panel an unfair advantage, because the input is on this side, and I'm gonna fold over the input. What is gonna be the shading performance? Let's say the idea is like this complete half is shaded. What power output is gonna be? Let's just see. Okay, so perhaps this is more of an unfair advantage for that one, is that you have two unshaded panels. And here you have it like this folding thing is covering up this panel. But will Topcon win out? That's my question. So let's just see on the input. We're getting nothing. Okay. So that's the important thing. You can't have that part shaded. And that guy is still getting 75 watts. Okay, so let's make it a fair game again. And let's fold over, I guess, that end. Maybe you can't fold over, we'll see. We're gonna unfold that guy and fold over that end and see if the same thing happens with that solar panel. Okay, so now it's folded over this. Again, we have this guy covering up this area. Will that affect it? But it's a similar effect on that one. We shall see. How does that affect it? So this guy on the input is not producing anything. This guy on the input is producing 61 watts. So if you're gonna be running the solar panel folded up, perhaps this is the best way to go. What's another way to test it? So we maybe the wiring might be better in the parallel there. Yeah, that's kind of like maybe an unfair advantage. Oh, perhaps maybe the next test is completely unfolded and laying flat on the ground. Let's say it's a windy situation and you don't want it to fly away or it flop down. What power output does one go against the other? Let's just see. Okay, so laying flat on the ground. Let's see what it has. Okay, this guy on the input, 104, and this guy on the input, 90. So consistently better results. Obviously, folded upwards is really nice. Also, you could adjust this legs. I just used the standard one as the way that it came. You can unhook it. What also I like the advantage of this one is these grommets over here. So this gives you advantage is that you could put carabiners or you could put bungee cords and hang this guy up from a tree or something like that. That advantage is also nice. I also like the ergonomic design. And technically, these cells are slightly smaller. So let's put them side by side and let's compare the relative dimensions of one versus the other. Okay. So the new Topcon panel not only produces more electricity, it actually is smaller. It is smaller in dimensions. Wow. Look at that. Each one of these, so folded up one, technically, it's a better, more ergonomic design. So technically you could get more power output out of a lesser area. And let's see what the power outputs are right now. So again, we're measuring at the input before the charge controller because we want to give it the best advantage possible. Because like over here, at the input, this guy is producing 84 as opposed to the 65 Bluettis. Okay, and on the input over here, after the charge controller, see we're doing a 60-53. Okay, all right, interesting. So the last test, the best I could do is throw our shirt, let's say in the middle. Let's give it kind of like as fair of an example as possible. Unfold this shirt and throw it over here. Let's say a big leaf or some trees decided to shade out the middle. What is the partial shading test? It's kind of giving the advantage to the Bluetti. However, it doesn't matter. Like we're looking at as impartially as possible. At the input. Okay. So 19 versus 26. So it looks like the Bluetti is winning out of that one. 25. No, maybe it's actually pretty even. 27 and 27. 27 and 28. So now let's see if we move it over a little bit. Okay, let's throw this like over here and give like a similar kind of like, you probably wouldn't have that. I mean, if you have it set up in your yard, you wouldn't let that happen, but you know, who knows? A tree could be shading, anything could be doing. Let's see. Okay, so the Bluetti is doing a lot better. Look at that. There's some sort of wiring, I think, over here towards the top that it gives better parallel performance. The Bluetti is doing 40 and this guy is doing only 5. Okay, so now let's do the partial shading over here and cover up this area and see if there's some sort of, there might be kind of like a wire paralleling over here and that might be keeping it from giving it optimum power. Or Bluetti is winning. Okay, another partial shading test. Side by side. 34 on the Bluetti and 4.5. Okay, so it doesn't like that. This shirt really is screwing things up. Okay, so one of the takeaways is the Bluetti. Like if you're deciding to throw beach towels on your panel, Bluetti might be the way to go. Now if we uncover it, the new type is 67 versus 53. What's interesting is the operating voltage on this guy is like 20 volts. See, 20 point versus the 18. And it's producing more. Okay, so what's the takeaway? Don't throw beach towels on top of it, and you will produce more power than another 200 watt panel. So now let's look at the economics of such a thing. You have a lot of choices with 200 watt panels. I mean, there's a ton of them. They're like between $200 and even $400. The most expensive ones would be the EcoFlows, and I don't think they use the N-type panels. So you would probably, the best of the best might be the Bluetti. At least personally in my test with other 200 watt panels that I had, this guy consistently was giving me 150, and other panels have given me like 130 and 140. So this guy was still always giving me 10 watts higher. But to get 10 watts higher than this guy in a smaller package at a lower cost really makes me kind of think, makes me go, is that really worthwhile? I think it is. I think I would give this solar panel 5 thumbs up. I like that it snaps in folded. This little snappy little, these little things over here, you see snap in, the little nub. So it snaps shut, so easy to carry. I like the ergonomic handles. I feel like, see over here you're carrying about one handle. These double handles and still being a smaller footprint than just one handle is kind of nice. All right, friends, thumb up, subscribe. This panel is linked down below. I appreciate you using that link in case you were getting a solar panel anyway. It would support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. All right, friends, thumb up, subscribe, check out my other videos. I have this guy head to head with a couple other solar panels too. So just this guy, this newest technology, I think N-type is the way of the future. I hope you enjoyed the video. Put in your comments down below. What do you guys think? How would you improve the test, or did you find a better solar panel? I haven't. So I'm excited about this technology. Having consistently higher output, really 57 versus 48. That's still nothing to sneeze at. That could be charging a cell phone. Okay, friends, see you in the next one, and have a great day. Bye-bye.